We have now done a lot of different kinds of questions which involve pulleys, right? So for example, a situation like this you have seen very often, and you know that if this block moves up by some distance x, that block is going to move down by a distance x. Why? Why is that the case? Because if I think of this block as moving up some distance, the length on this side of the rope will decrease by x. Now that length will go over to that side, so that means that length there is going to increase by x. So you know this. In fact, it's a very simple thing for us to show this. If I have two blocks and I put this on a pulley like this, okay, so let us say that I keep them here and I release them. You can see very easily that if I get this fellow started and this fellow starts to move up, that fellow is going to come down, right? So whatever, let me now allow the pulley to move so that way you can see it yourself. Ready? So I'm going to leave this pulley and you can see that this block is going up, that block is coming down. If I hold the pulley, of course, then it stops. So is that idea clear? This fellow goes up by x, that fellow comes down by x. It's a very easy idea for us to understand. Now the question that we are going to look at is what happens if the pulley moves down, and why is that of any importance? Because if you look at this situation, if this guy moves up by x and that fellow comes down by x, that means this distance is equal to this distance. They are traveling equal distances in equal time. If they are traveling equal distances in equal time, then x by t and here you will have x by t, these two will be equal, except opposite direction. But what is x by t? It's going to give me average velocity. So that means average velocity here and average velocity there, they are equal. But if I made this time really small, average velocity will become instantaneous velocity. So instantaneous velocities are equal. So if displacements are equal, then this guy's velocity is v, this fellow's velocity is v. Which means change in velocity must be equal. Because if this goes from v to, let's say, v plus 1, that will go from v to v plus 1 downwards. So change in velocity, forget the direction, change in velocity in this fellow in this direction, that fellow in that direction, the changes will be equal. Therefore, change in velocity by time will be equal. Or usually people say, if this is x and that is x, if I differentiate, I am going to get velocity. If I double differentiate, I will get acceleration. This acceleration will be equal to that acceleration. We have been using this a lot. We have been saying if this guy has an acceleration a, that also has an acceleration a. Now the question we really want to understand today is what happens if the pulley also moves. So let me explain what I mean by this. Okay, so the question I want to answer, so I have to hold the pulley, otherwise what's going to happen is if I let this go, then this will start to move, so then you won't be able to see. Okay, so let me just hold it, and then let us say that this fellow goes up by some amount, but then the pulley also comes down by some amount. Okay, understood? So that means both are happening. As this guy is going, the pulley is coming down, and the question that we have to ask is, if this guy goes up and the pulley comes down, how much will this other block move? Let us think about that. So to do that, I am going to do it very carefully, step by step. So let us try out a small experiment. So now let us try this small thing. I am going to move this pulley by 5 centimeters, and I am going to move this block, one of these blocks. This block is going to go up, the small block is going to go up by 6 centimeters. And what I am going to claim is that this fellow is going to go down by 16 centimeters. 2 times 5 plus 6. Let us see whether that really works. So I am going to place this pulley there, and Madhu, can you hold this? So both of these should be exactly at that line, so you can see it, right? Now what I am going to ask is to keep this fixed and move this block alone up, just move it slowly and move it to this position. You can see when she moved this block up, there was a slack. How much slack? This thing is called the slack, right? How much slack? Well, when you bring it here, when you have this thing here, the rope is taut. So when she lifts it up by 6 centimeters, the slack produced is equal to 6 centimeters. Now let us ignore this slack that is here. I'll leave this slack as it is. But now let's think about what happens when the pulley goes down by 5 centimeters. So if I bring the pulley down by 5 centimeters, can you see, let me hold this here so you can see it very clearly. When this moves, can you see that there is a slack produced on both sides? This side and that side. So when the pulley moves down by 5 centimeters, there was a slack of 5 here and a slack of 5 here. How much was the slack already here? 6. So 6 plus 5 plus 5. Now this is totally a slack of 6 plus 5, 11. If I take that slack to that side, and that's the whole purpose of a pulley, you can move the slack from one side to the other. Now I have pulled how much slack there? I have got 5 plus 5 plus 6. So that means a total slack of 16. So that means this thing has a slack of 16. So keeping this fixed, can you just move this down? You can move it till that point, right? Can you see that this fellow went up by this much, that fellow has gone down by that much. And you should always take the base. Okay, from base to base, it has moved by 6 centimeters. Base to base, that has moved by a lot more. Let us measure. Let's take a scale and measure. So how much is this? How much do you get? This is 16 centimeters. Let me now show you the same thing a little bit more carefully, okay? So I'll explain what I'm doing. So first, you freeze this entire system. Nothing moves without your permission. Then you move this. When you move this, there is a slack being produced there. Okay, and don't do anything with the slack, just leave it. And because the whole system is frozen, nothing moves without your permission, you can leave it and it will hang. Obviously it won't hang in reality. I'm just saying it will hang in your imagination. Okay, here of course I'll need Madhu to help me out and hold it. Right? So can you hold that and hold it here. So when I lift this up, there is a slack. In imagination nobody is holding it, you just simply frozen it. Then you move this guy down, there is a slack here and there is a slack here. So if that moves by x, there is a slack of x and x. This moved by y, there is a slack of y, x, x, y. So when you take this together with that fellow, a total slack of y plus x, which is equal to 2x plus y is produced here. And that means you can pull this down by 2x plus y. Now let us just draw this and see. So I have here a pulley, but this is not connected to the roof. This is connected to something which can move. Okay, so this is a movable pulley, maybe part of a lift. And now let us say I have one block on this side and one block on that side. They don't have to start at the same level, but it's a good idea for us to right now think in those terms. If I say that this was the original level, now keeping this fixed, so I freeze. So the method that we are basically using, we will call it freeze and slack. So basically because we are going to freeze this entire system, this is not the ground, I have just marked this level. You're freezing this entire system, nothing moves without your permission. So now you move this fellow up. So move this up by x. So if I move this fellow up by x, there is a slack produced here which is equal to x. When a block that moves up once it basically produces a slack of just 1x. But when this pulley or anything which is connected to two ropes, if this fellow goes down, that is if the top thing goes down, that means the whole pulley goes down. Just imagine this entire thing comes down like that. By how much? Let us say y. But that means this part of the rope is now hanging here as y. But not just on that side, it's also hanging here on this side. Because equivalent amount of y here, so you will end up having a slack here which is y. Is that clear? So when that pulley comes down by y, you have y, y, and then you already have an x. So if I pull this slack out from one side to the other, I'm going to have x plus y plus y. So that means I can get rid of this slack, slacks can be moved. And then if I bring all the slacks to this side, I'm going to end up with x plus 2y. So the motion of the pulley produced double the amount of slack. The pulley moved by y, but the slack it produced was 2y because it produced y on either side. When x moved, it had only produced 1, whereas the pulley produced y and y. Sometimes blocks can also produce 2, because if there is a block that was connected to two ropes, if the block moves x, it will produce x and x on both. But of course, the slacks cannot be moved around like you can move it on a pulley. So we'll focus right now on a pulley. Now I have a slack of how much? X plus 2y. Now that means to get rid of the slack, I must pull this fellow down by x plus 2y. So that means if this fellow moves up by x and the pulley moves down by y, this block will move down by x plus 2y. So if this block moves up by 6 centimeters, that pulley moves down by 5, slack would have been 6, slack would have been 5, 5. So 6 plus 5 plus 5, 16. This other block would have moved down 16 centimeters. This is 6 centimeters. Okay, so let us just try this again once. So let us say that I am actually now going to hold the rope, so you don't have to see this thing being held. So I am just going to lift this up, so there is a slack of 6 centimeters. Then I am going to move this fellow down, so there is a slack of 5 here, right, and 5 there. So you have 5 and 5. And then let us move all the slacks from one side to the other, and so you can see that the total slack that will basically get transferred from this side to that side. How much is it? It is 16. So now there is 16 centimeters of slack here, and which is why if I let this guy go down, you can see it has fallen by 16 centimeters. Does this really happen like this step by step? Of course not. It all happens all together. But this is our way to think about what is happening. Okay, obviously what is going to happen is, suppose I take this pulley and I hold it, right? And if I let this guy go, you can see that this is what is going to happen, but it's going to all happen together. So if I start from here and I say, ready, 1, 2, 3, go, and then as it goes down, if I take this down, that fellow goes down a lot more. It's all happening together at one shot. But for you to understand it, it's a good idea to say lift, slack. Next time I won't actually be moving things around. So what I will do here is I will say, okay, here is a pulley, there is a block, there is another block. I will say lift this up by 6. I won't draw the block and draw the slack. I will just say there is a slack here of how much? 6. And then I will say let's bring the pulley down. So I won't actually bring it down. I will just say let's imagine the pulley has come down. And then I will say, okay, when the pulley came down, there is a slack of 5, there is a slack of 5. And then we'll say, okay, let's move this 6, 5, 11. Let's move it there. So how much do you get? 16. So now let's get this guy down by 16. So this guy comes down by 16. So I hope that is clear. And then what we conclude is if this goes up by 6, that goes down by 16, assuming that fellow is going down by 5. So let us just simply apply this idea to a bunch of different cases. The simplest case was this. Here you could have said, I lifted this up, there was a slack produced of x, take the slack over to that side, slack of x, pull down by x. So this goes up x, that goes down x. Now let us look at other examples. So in this question I have 2 pulleys. One of them is fixed to the roof. The other one can actually move up or down. Now whenever you have a question of this kind, it's always a good idea whether the A block which is connected to the pulley, whether it's going to go down or go up, it's a good idea to assume it is going up. Because if it is going up, it is going to produce slack. That is always easier for our brains to understand. You can also imagine that you are destroying slack, but it's a good idea to always start by producing slack. So let us assume A goes up by x. If A goes up by x, how much slack will be produced here? X. Right? Now, to get rid of this x, what do I need to do? I need to grab this pulley with the rope and lift it up by how much? Lift it up by x. So if I did that, this x will get destroyed, but instead I will end up with an x here and an x here. Correct? Now this x, I cannot take the slack anywhere there because that point is tied up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this slack x to this side, and if I did that, I'm going to end up with a slack of 2x. Now, what do I do with this 2x? Each pulley and each block should only be moved once. Once, and that's final. Okay, so after I've frozen the system, I can move the block once. I've moved it up once, and that's it. I've already moved this pulley up by x. So the pulley has gone up by x. Finished. You can't touch the pulley anymore. Slacks you can move how many ever times you want. But this slack can't go there. It has to only go this way. That pulley can't move. So that means this slack of 2x comes here. How do I get rid of this slack of 2x here? If I have 2x, how do I get rid of that? By pulling b down by 2x. So b goes down by 2x, and so that means this slack is also destroyed. Can you see? Let me show this again without writing and drawing. Lift this up, x, slack, x, grab, lift up, x. This slack is gone, you have x and x there. Bring this x here, so that is 2x, 2x, pull it down, 2x. Okay? Play around like this yourself, you will find that it's very, very easy. Once you have mastered it, you will be able to solve any of these kinds of multiple moving pulley problems. Okay? So I hope that is clear. Right. Now, could I have started on this side? You could have. This is a little bit more cumbersome. We will see what to do when we start from this side. But I want to point out something interesting. If A goes up x, B goes down 2x. If A has a velocity v, B would have a velocity 2v. The ratio of the displacements also translates into ratio of velocities. If A has an acceleration A, B would have an acceleration 2A. So it's not just about the fact that it is about displacement, it's also about velocity and acceleration. In fact, acceleration is what we are going to really use because we want to know the connection between these two accelerations. Okay. Now, let me also point out another important thing. As we are trying to solve this, it may turn out that A is actually going down. So it may not be going up A, it may be going down B. So it may not be going upwards A, it may be going down B. What do I do? Well, if it was A up, this was 2A down. If that is A down, this will be 2A up. Just simply change the direction. So this is no longer 2A down, it has become 2B up. So the ratio still remains A and 2A, except A was going up and 2A was going down. Now instead of going up, you have made it going down. So once you flip the arrow down, here this arrow which was down will flip upwards. And I called it B, so this has become 2B. If I now say, no, I don't even like this, I don't want any of this, I am going to say B goes up by A. B is going upwards by A. Well, if this was A, B would have gone up. So if this was going down by B, this would have gone up 2B. So 2B is actually A. So what is B? A by 2. So that means this fellow will go down A by 2. Really what matters is the ratio. So you are assuming this is A and you are finding that this guy is going down to A. You can always change it to this being A and that being A by 2. So that is not a problem. Okay, what matters is the fact that this is twice. Let us now come to this case. Always lift up the block that is most highly connected. If you lift this up, you will end up with one slack here and then you won't know what to do. We will learn it, it will still be cumbersome. Instead, if I lift this up and instead of calling it, because I really want acceleration, so instead of talking about x, I am going to now talk about A itself. Why unnecessarily go to x and then go to A? I am lifting this up by A. It produces a slack of A here and a slack of A here. If I try to take this slack, the problem is this lift, this particular pulley can also be lifted up or it can basically be pulled down. So it gets a little confusing if you start with this A. And you can only move it once. But to move this fellow once, remember it is only connected by one rope. So it's better to move the up rope than to worry about the rope in the which is going around the pulley. So let us focus on this connection. But there is a slack A here. Now this slack can't do anything to this pulley because that pulley is fixed. So this A goes there and becomes a slack here. How will I get rid of that A? By pulling this pulley down. Remember, I have frozen this entire system. Nothing moves without my permission. So that means this guy is just hanging around here. The slack waits. Everything is waiting for you. So now let me pull this down. So when I pull this down, this A goes away. Instead, I will end up with an A here and an A here. When the pulley is pulled down, right, pulled down, then pulled down by A. So that slack A is gone, but it is producing two AA slacks on either side. Okay, that is because there are two ropes hanging from here. If there was a third rope hanging from the middle, it will also produce a slack there. There will be a few cases where something like that will also happen. Well, now I have got an A, I have got an A, and I have got an A. Let us move this slack A, and bring it there. What is going to happen? This is now going to become 3A, right? Because I took all this, A has added up with that one, and so you have got 3A. Now when I bring this B down, I have to bring it down by 3A if I want to have no slack. So the rule is freeze, lift, produce the slacks, move the slacks around. Each object, pulley or block, can only move once. Then finally, after everything is done, there must be no slack. When there is no slack, you can say unfreeze. That is what happens automatically, naturally. Is that clear? So if this guy goes up by A, that guy goes down by 3A. Let me show it again. A, there is already an A here. All these have become cleared of slacks, but there is now a slack A, and a slack A. 3A, pull it down 3A, no slack, unfreeze. Clear? Now let us apply this idea to a slightly more complicated question. Right? So because it's a complicated question, I'm going to draw, otherwise I would have basically just used my hands and shown how we can do it. You should definitely try to do it mentally without writing anything. But let us start. If I lift this up by A, this is the one that is most highly connected. So it's a good idea to lift this up by A. Now once I lift this up by A, I'm going to get a slack of A. It's a good idea to grab all the pulleys and lift all of them up. You can also say this A, I have to get rid of this A, and this A. I can do it step by step. I can say let's get rid of this A. Pull this pulley up, you will get an A and an A. Pull this pulley up, this goes away, you will get an A and an A. Get rid of this slack by pulling the pulley up, you will get A. Now this slack can't go anywhere, so A goes here, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A. And when I move this slack here, how much slack will I get? I'll get 6A. So that means none of these slacks are anymore going to be there, right? We have removed all of them. So this is gone. So all these slacks have now come here. So this fellow has to move down 6A. So if this block moves up by A, this block moves down by 6A. If this guy has an acceleration A, that fellow will have an acceleration 6A. If it has a velocity V, this will have a velocity 6V. Now we could have also done that by saying, okay, see, you see these ropes are all fixed. So why not just grab this entire thing and lift it up by A? Then you will get A. And then you can just happily move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6A. So that is 6A. So you can see how simple it is. Okay. Now let us think about what to do. So we've seen now what happens when I lift a block up and produce slack. You also have seen what happens when you are pulling a pulley down. So it produces 2 slacks. This destroys A and produces AA on either side. Suppose I have already some slack here and I want to destroy the slack. Let us think about what will happen. So far we have been looking at situations where there was a slack here and the pulley moves down and destroys this slack, straightens that part out and produces slack on both sides. So if there was a slack of X, the X is destroyed and instead you end up getting X and X. So if I now imagine that I have a pulley, you can see that when the pulley moves down, it's producing slack on both sides. Now similarly, if I now have slacks on both sides and I lift the pulley up, what do you think will happen? It will destroy slack on both sides. So if I had XX and the pulley moves up by X, the reverse will happen. So just reverse this entire thing. So what I'm asking you to do or imagine is that I have a slack of X and X. So right, so here is the rope. I have X and X slack here. I grab this pulley and lift it up. By how much? I lift it up by X. Then this X is going to get destroyed. That will also get destroyed. Both slacks get destroyed at one shot. And instead you will end up with a slack of X on top. Okay, I'll show it to you. I won't be able to show the slack on top. Now when I go down, I am producing X and X. So now there is X and X slack here. When I go up, you can see that both get destroyed at the same time. I go up the same amount. This will also straighten out. That side also will straighten out. Obviously, right? Now comes the interesting question. what if I have on this side a slack of x and on that side I have a slack of y? You understand my question? I want to lift this pulley up, but on this side and that side I don't have equal slacks. But whenever the pulley moves down, it does produce equal slacks. You want to destroy slack. If you pull this fellow up by x, let us say that x was smaller, let us say that this was 3 centimeters and that was 5 centimeters. Then if I pull this up by 3 centimeters, this will straighten out. Let me show you. So here I have basically a taut rope. If I did this, I am going to have equal slacks. Now let me take some of this slack and move it to that side. Now I have unequal slack. So now when I try to pull this up, you can see that this side has become, can you see? This side has become taut, but that side still has the slack. So this was 3 centimeters, I pull it up by 3 centimeters. This produced 3 centimeters here. This has got straightened out, so this slack is gone. But that slack is still going to remain. So this 5 centimeters, you will have destroyed 3, but 5 minus 3 is still 2 centimeters. So you will now have a slack of 2 centimeters still on that side, like in this case, right? So when I pull, when there is unequal slack, let us say that was more slack on that side, like that. Then when I try to pull it, one side basically becomes taut, the other side still has a slack. If I continue to pull, this rope is going to break, right? If I pull this little bit more, holding this side, this will break. But this is a pulley. In reality, that's not what is going to happen, because if I didn't hold this pulley and the rope tightly, if I did this, first the slack gets destroyed. Can you see that it has already become taut? Now, part of the rope from that side, can you see it's moving to this side? Right? That's what is going to happen. That's what is going to happen naturally. But in our brains to understand, if you want to basically pull up and destroy slack, both sides must have equal slack. What do? If I had 3 centimeters and I had 5 centimeters, what do? Just bring the 5 centimeters over here. So how much slack do you have totally? 8 centimeters. So if I bring the 5 centimeters here, I have 8 centimeters. Now 8 centimeters of slack you can divide into 2 parts. You can say 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters. Take back the 4 centimeters to that side. So now you have 4 centimeters on this side, 4 centimeters on this side. Now if I lift the pulley up by 4 centimeters, both the slacks will get destroyed simultaneously. And instead you will end up with a slack of 4 centimeters at the top. So is that idea clear? You can always make x and y equal slacks just by making them x plus y by 2 on both sides. I hope the idea is clear. You must do that before you lift the pulley. Remember, you can only lift the pulley once. So if you have lifted the pulley, by the time you lifted the pulley, both sides must have no slack anymore. Which means first make the 2 side slacks equal, then lift the pulley. So I hope the idea is clear. Just like moving the pulley down will destroy that slack and add up 2 slacks xx here. When you are taking it up, you must destroy x and x and you will produce a slack of x there. Okay. Let us see how to use this in problems so that you will understand better. Let us take this case. Now I have 3 blocks A, B and C, and if I move A like this, I am going to produce a slack of A. If I move B by B, then I am going to produce a slack of B. If I bring this A here, I will have a slack of A. This part basically gets straightened out, and here I have a slack of A. Then I have a slack here of B. But the problem now is, if I grab this pulley and pull it down, if A was smaller, that means it will come down only A and there will be some slack left. If I pull any more, this will break. If B was smaller and I pull it down, this will come down by B, but then there will still be some more slack left. What do? I take the B to this side, and now I have A plus B is the total slack on this side and no slack on that side. Half of it you keep here, half of it you take back and transfer it there. So now I have A plus B by 2, A plus B by 2. Grab the pulley and pull it down by A plus B by 2. When you do that, in fact, you can grab this entire thing and pull it down. But if I just did that, I will get a slack of a plus b by 2. To clear that, I will have to pull this down by a plus b by 2. So C will move a plus b by 2, and therefore both of these slacks will get destroyed. So if block A moves by A, block B moves by B, block C will move by a plus b by 2. Do you understand where the by 2 comes from? That's very, very important. Okay. Now let us try to look at another example. We could have done this problem by moving B. So you have a block B connected through a pulley to a fixed point here, and then the rope goes around to block A. I could have done this by moving this fellow. You can actually see it quite easily. Once B moves, you will have a slack of x, because you can move that by x. So if B moves by x, you end up having xx, which makes it 2x. So you know the ratio is 2. This must be moving twice. So I can reverse it by saying if this moves up by A, that fellow should move that way by A by 2. Let us do that properly with slacks. How do I do that? Lift this up by A. How much slack? A. Move the slack here. How much slack here? A. Correct? But this side has no slack, that side has slack. I can't move the pulley. What should I do? Keep half the slack there and take the other half of the slack here. Now do you have equal slacks on both sides? Yes. So I can now pull the pulley by A by 2, because once I pull the pulley by A by 2, both of these fellows will get destroyed. So I have moved the pulley by A by 2, which means there is a slack of A by 2 produced. To clear that slack, I will move this block B by A by 2. So I hope that is clear. So if block A goes up by A, block B goes by A by 2. So I hope this idea is basically clear. So you should be able to use the freeze and slack method to relate from one block to another block. Accelerations, velocities, displacements, all of it. And we'll see that it's not just useful in Newton's laws, it will be useful in work energy, it will be useful in many, many types of questions. So the standard way to solve this problem is by writing down length constraints, lots of equations, and a lot of mess. So I came up with this method so that this makes things really, really simple. Okay. So do practice this a little bit. With a little bit of practice, you will find that this is one of your favorite topics. Okay. So let us see how to use this in problems.